Hello everyone, my name is Aliasan. I am a student of foundation level at Reha School. I am a hardworking and friendly student. I like learning new things and improving my knowledge. Every day, my goal is to become a successful person in the future. What does whatever mean?
It's one of those phrases that can be a total chameleon. Depending on the tone, it can be a casual way of saying, I don't mind, or a way to completely shut down a conversation. Which one are you hearing more often?
When do people use the word whatever?
It usually comes down to how much the person actually cares in that moment. In a low stakes way, like, picking a movie, it's just anything works for me. But if there's tension in the air, it's more of a, I'm done talking about this. Do you think it's more of a helpful phrase or a frustrating one?
Is whatever a positive word?
It really depends on the intent. When it's about being flexible, like whatever you want for dinner, it's positive because it's easygoing. But when it's used as a brush off, it can feel pretty cold. Do you feel like people use it to be kind or to be dismissive?
Is whatever a negative word?
It can definitely lean that way, especially when it's used to end an argument without actually solving anything. It's like a verbal shrug that says, "I don't care enough to keep going." Does that sound like the way you've been hearing it?
Can whatever show indifference?
I'm not quite following you there. Are you trying to compare whatever to another word or maybe talking about a specific example?
What is indifference?
I think you might mean indifferences. That's basically the feeling of not caring one way or the other. It's a bit like the low stakes version of whatever, where you just don't have a strong preference.
Where do people become indifferent?
It usually happens when someone has just completely checked out emotionally. It can be a defense mechanism to avoid getting hurt, or sometimes it's just what happens after you've tried to care too much and you've finally hit a wall. Do you think it's easier to be indifferent or to keep feeling everything?
How does indifference affect relationship?
It can be pretty devastating, honestly, because while anger or arguing shows there's still some passion there, indifference is just empty. It's the opposite of love, not hate. When one person stops caring whether the other is happy or sad, the connection just starts to wither. Do you think it's possible to come back from that?
Can whatever hurt someone's feelings?
I hear you. When someone's feelings just aren't being acknowledged or valued, it feels like you're talking to a brick wall. It's exhausting to be the only one trying to hold things together. Do you feel like that's the case right now?
Is whatever common in daily conversation?
Oh, absolutely. It's everywhere, from quick agreements to those awkward silences in a fight. It's one of the most used filler words in English. Do you find yourself using it often, or do you prefer to be more specific?
Who uses the word whatever most often?
It's hard to pin down a specific group, but it definitely feels more common with teenagers and young adults. It's often used When someone's feeling a bit rebellious or just doesn't wanna put in the effort to explain themselves. Do you notice a certain type of person using it more than others?
Can children use the word whatever?
They definitely can, and it's usually pretty funny. They often pick it up from adults or older kids and use it to avoid doing something they don't wanna do. It's like their first little taste of being dismissive. Do you think kids are just mirroring what they see, or are they actually feeling that indifference?
Does tune change the meaning of whatever?
Wait, you wanna pivot the meaning of the word? That sounds like a creative challenge. How do you see it changing?
What emotions can whatever express?
Oh, it's a versatile one. It can be a shrug of the shoulders, like, "I don't really care," or it can be a way to protect yourself when you're feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes it's even a soft landing, like, "Whatever happens, happens." Do any of those feel like what you're thinking of?
Can whatever show frustration?
Oh, definitely. That's usually the most common way it's used, that sharp, "I'm done talking about this" kind of energy. It's almost like a verbal wall you put up when you're just too exhausted to keep arguing. Does that sound like the version you've encountered most?
Can whatever end an agreement?
Hmm, that's hallelujah. I'm guessing that's a far cry from the frustration we were just talking about.
Can whatever start an agreement?
It's a stretch, but I can see it happening. In a really casual way, maybe like, "Whatever you want for dinner is fine with me." It's less of a yes and more of a, "I'm on board with your choice." Do you think that's too passive for a real agreement?
Is whatever polite?
Honestly, not usually. It often comes across as dismissive, even if you don't mean it that way. It's the kind of word that can make the other person feel like their point doesn't matter. Do you think it's possible to use it and still sound genuinely polite?
Is whatever
I'm
read
listening.
good?
I'm not quite sure I follow. What do you mean by Gia, Florida?
How do teachers view the whatever?
Most teachers probably see it as a red flag. It's often viewed as a sign of defiance or just a total lack of engagement. In a classroom where there's a certain level of respect and effort expected, whatever can feel like a slap in the face to the person trying to help you learn. Do you think they're usually just reacting to the attitude or the word itself?
How do parents react to hearing whatever?
For a lot of parents, that's a trigger word. It usually feels like a door slamming in their face. To them, it's not just a word, it's a sign that their kid is checking out or doesn't value what they're saying. Do you think parents take it more personally than teachers do?
Where do teenagers often say whatever?
Pretty much everywhere. They'll use it in the hallways, in the group chat, and definitely during those awkward dinner table conversations when they're just not in the mood to explain themselves. It's like the ultimate armor for when you want to end a conversation without actually leaving the room. Do you think it's a tool for efficiency or just a way to avoid the real conversation?
Can whatever mean accept acceptance?
That's an interesting way to put it. I think it can, but it's a shaky kind of acceptance. It's more like, I can't change this, so I'm just going to stop fighting it rather than a genuine, happy agreement. It's almost like a surrender. Do you feel like that's a different kind of acceptance than actually being okay with something?
Can it mean disagreement?
Oh, absolutely. It's probably the fastest way to start one. When you use it to shut someone down, you're not just disagreeing with their point, you're basically telling them that their entire perspective isn't even worth the effort of a real response. Does that feel like a more aggressive form of disagreement than just saying no?
What is the story of the word whatever?
That's a big question. It's like you're asking for the history of whatever on a global scale. Um, I'd say it's a story of people finding a way to say everything and nothing at the same time. It's evolved from a simple placeholder into this powerful little tool for emotional boundaries. Do you think it's a word that brings people closer or just keeps them apart?
How has its meaning changed over time?
I think it's become way more focused on the emotional subtext. In the past, it was more of a literal no matter what, or a way to describe something random. Now it's almost a shorthand for a specific mood, like a signal for detachment or apathy. It's evolved from a descriptor into a weapon or a shield, depending on who's using it. Do you think we're becoming more detached in general, or is it just that the we've found a more efficient way to express it?
Is whatever used in formal writing?
Definitely not. It's way too casual and usually carries too much baggage to work in a professional setting. If you put that in a formal paper or a business email, it would probably look like you're just not trying, or worse, that you're being dismissive of the person reading it. Do you think there are other casual words that are just too risky for formal writing?
What are some alternatives to saying whatever?
I'm a little confused by selling with you air. Um, could you tell me a bit more about what you mean by that?
How can whatever affect communication?
It basically acts as a conversation stopper. When you use it, you're essentially cutting the line. It can make the other person feel unheard or unimportant, which usually kills any real connection or progress in the discussion. It's like putting a closed sign on the door where the other person is still talking. Do you think it's possible to recover a conversation after someone drops a whatever?
Does whatever always show indifference?
It is. And that's the tricky part. When indifference is the root, the other person usually stops trying because they feel like they're fighting a ghost. To recover, you usually have to move past the word and actually address the feeling behind it. Do you think it takes more energy to fix a conversation after a whatever than it does to just start over?
Can it be used respectfully?
It's a tough climb, but I think it can be if the intention is truly selfless. Like when you're letting someone else take the lead because you genuinely want them to be happy and you say, whatever you prefer, I'm just happy to be here. In that case, it's not about indifference, it's about flexibility. Does that feel like a respectful way to use it, or does it still feel a bit too passive?
What is the difference between whatever and anything?
They're close, but they have different energies. Anything is usually open and inviting, like when you ask, "Do you want anything from the store?" You're offering a world of possibilities. whatever is more about lack of preference or dismissiveness. One feels like a door opening, and the other feels like a door closing. Does that make sense to you?
How do friends use the word?
With friends, it's a lot more nuanced. It can be a joke, a shared eye roll, or even a way to show you're totally comfortable with each other. Like that low pressure, whatever, let's just go. But it can also be that passive aggressive sting when things are actually tense. Do you find that you and your friends use it more as a shortcut or as a shield?
How do strangers use the word?
With strangers, it's almost always a red flag. Because there's no foundation of trust or friendship, it usually comes across as cold or straight up rude. If a stranger says it to you, it feels like they're telling you that you're not even worth the time it takes to form a real sentence. Do you think people are generally more impatient with strangers these days?
What message does it send to others?
It sends a message of distance. It tells people that you're not invested in the conversation or the person. Depending on the tone, it can say, I don't care about this topic, or I don't care about you. It's a way of opting out of the emotional work that comes with actually connecting. Do you think that's a fair way to look at it?
Can it make someone feel ignored?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the fastest ways to make someone feel like they've just vanished from the room. When you're sharing something and the response is just whatever, it's like your words just hit a wall and bounce back at you. Do you think that feeling of being ignored is worse than someone just straight up disagreeing with you?
How does body language affect its meaning?
The body language usually does all the heavy lifting. You'll see the classic eye roll, a shrug, or someone just looking away. It's all about creating a physical distance to match the verbal one. Does that match how you've seen people act when they use it?
Is whatever popular in movies.
It is. It's the perfect line for a moody teenager or a character who's trying to act like they don't care when they actually do. It adds that layer of tension or apathy that's really easy to film. Do you think it's used more for comedy or for drama in the movies you've seen?
Is it common in social media?
I've never heard of Shukail Media. Is that a specific network or creator you're thinking of? I found a few people with similar names in Pakistani media, like Mir Shakil or Rahman, who's built a huge media empire. Do you think the way they talk in that kind of media influences how people use words like whatever?
Where is it a farmhouse expression?
I'm not sure I've ever heard it described that way. Are you thinking of a specific place or kind of person who uses it as a farmhouse expression?
Can it show confidence?
I think it can, but it's a very specific kind of confidence. It's less about being sure of yourself and more about being so unbothered that nothing can get to you. It's like a I don't care what anyone thinks kind of energy. Do you think that's a real kind of confidence or is it just a mask for something else?
How do different cultures view the word?
That's a massive jump in scale. It's like going from a single word to the entire human experience. I think a lot of it comes down to what each culture values most. Some focus on the individual and their goals, while others see everything as a connected web where the community comes first. Do you think we're losing those unique cultural perspectives as the world gets more connected?
Can indifference be helpful sometimes?
Actually, I think it can. It's like a mental filter. When you're dealing with things you can't control, like a rude stranger or a trivial drama, being a little indifferent keeps you from burning out. It's basically emotional preservation. Do you think there's a line where it stops being a helpful shield and starts becoming a problem?
Can indifference be harmful?
Oh, definitely. It's when that shield starts turning into a wall that shuts out the people who actually care about you. If you're indifferent to the things that matter, like a friend's pain or your own growth, you end up in a place where nothing feels meaningful anymore. Do you think it's harder to tell when you're being a shield or when you've actually just stopped caring?
What causes emotional indifference?
I think it usually comes from a place of protection. It's often a response to too much pain or disappointment, like your brain just decides it's easier to feel nothing than to keep getting hurt. It can also happen when someone feels totally powerless to change a situation, so they just shut down to survive it. Do you think it's more of a gradual fade or a sudden switch?
How can people overcome indifference?
I think it starts with a small crack in the wall. It usually takes a bit of intentional curiosity, trying to find one thing that still sparks a reaction, even if it's something small. For some, it's about reconnecting with people who make them feel seen. And for others, it's about admitting that the indifference is actually a mask for something else. Do you think it's easier to overcome when you have someone supporting you, or is it something you have to fight through on your own?
What role does context play in its meaning?
Context is everything here. It's the difference between a friendly shrug and a total shutdown. If you're with your best friend and you say whatever about where to eat, it's just easygoing. But if you say it during a serious argument with your parents, it's basically an emotional grenade. And
How do people
do you think how do people usually handle it when they're on the receiving end? I'm guessing some people just fire back with another whatever, while others try to dig deeper. Which one do you think is more productive?
can whatever express freedom?
I can see it that way. Mhm. In a way, it's a declaration of independence. It's like saying, I'm not bound by your expectations or this situation anymore. It can be a very liberating feeling to just stop caring about the things that don't actually matter. Do you think that's a healthy kind of freedom, or is it more like escaping from reality?
Can indifference affect teamwork?
Nah, I think it can definitely mess things up if a friend uses whatever to shut down a teammate's idea. It kills the trust and the momentum. People stop contributing because they don't want to feel dismissed. Do you think a team can actually recover once that kind of indifference sets in?
How does it influence friendships?
It can be a slow poison for a friendship. If it happens once in a while, it's just a bad mood. But if whatever becomes the default response, it tells the other person that the friendship isn't worth the effort of a real conversation. It eventually erodes that feeling of being seen. Do you think a friendship can survive if one person is always the one doing the emotional heavy lifting?
Can it affect learning?
That's a tricky one. If you're using whatever is as a way to just go along with a lesson because you have to, then it's a kind of forced learning. But it's almost the opposite of a real curiosity, which is when you're actually leaning in. Do you think you can actually learn something new if you've already decided it doesn't matter?